For now, though, we're going to be getting game number 2, ladies and gentlemen. The map is Whirlwind and spawning in the bottom right-hand corner as the blue Terran plays. Currently up 1 game from Korea, but representing Western Wolves, we have Sting. And spawning up here in the top right-hand corner, representing Mouse Sports, an absolute linchpin of European esports. This guy is in so many tournaments and always has solid results. But is he going to go down in this best of 3 here? Can he still make it out of his group? We have HasuObs. Like that little observer thing there, it's like Pewee was simulating an earthquake when I was introducing Sting.
Pewee, a very special observer.
For those of you who don't know, of course, we have a dedicated observer, Pewee, here on this stream. Props to him for making sure we don't miss any of the action here. It's so much easier casting when you have a dedicated observer. It's so different from when you have to observe yourself.
Yeah, I still observe myself because I like to move around very quickly.
Yep.
But nobody likes to watch that.
But it's nice because you can glance back and see what the observer is seeing, and you're able to see more of the map at once. It makes such a big difference.
Yes. And HasuObs is gonna go for the gate 13 here. He's going to follow this up with a quick scout, and that's very standard. That's the build I use as well on this map. And he's gonna scout in the wrong direction, sadly for him. Sting, will he go for a gas here? I'm pretty sure he will, because usually on this map, it's either Terran opens with a gas at early on or latest 15. I think it's gonna be a 15 gas here.
Yeah.
Or they go command center first. And now he didn't go for the command center first. He's already won 1 game convincingly by playing his very solid style. Why not do it again?
Yeah, I completely agree with you. And on such a big map as well, where early aggression doesn't necessarily pay off as much, simply because you need to make sure you know where your opponent is first, and it takes longer to walk over there. It just leans logically towards playing this very, very safe kind of style. And if Sting's already won 1 game doing that, like you said, there's absolutely no harm in doing it again, especially when the map lends itself to it.
And HasuObs, he opened with 2 assimilators very early on here. Again, he's only mining with 2+2 so far. He's going to do 2+3 here in a second. Maybe 3+3 right after that. So this might hint for a Stargate play again here out of him.
It's definitely possible. Wait and see. And interestingly, Sting is opting to scout cross positions first here. So do you think
games.
Yeah, is there much to look into? I mean, sometimes, depending on the spawn location on a 4-player map, you would do one thing if it's cross spawn, and you would do another thing if they're spawning on the side. This could influence, like, aerial play is a good example, depending on like how much space there is around the edges of the map.
Yeah, but the thing is, HasuObs is scouted very early, so now he already knows where Sting is. He does not know how he opens. His probe is going to get in there, but most likely be denied by a Marine. There's actually 2 Marines up the ramp. I don't know how much I like this. Maybe being down the ramp at this point would be much better with the Marines to deny that 1 probe, but HasuObs is not going to try to go up there. He's proxying a pylon.
Wow, he's going for it here. Going to see if he can put on a little bit of early pressure. Warp Gate, of course, is still nowhere close to being done at this point. We have the command center on the high ground for Sting. And yeah, his lack of low ground vision means that he's not going to see this until significantly later.
What is HasuObs up to? He's getting a second Stalker right now. He has a Mothership Core. He might go for the same type of pressure as he did against Blink. Send the Mothership Core in the main. Or he might try to kill the depots down the ramp, from down the ramp, with 2 Stalkers, 1 Mothership Core, and then reinforcement being warped in. He's actually getting the Stargate just now, but he's only going to be on 1 gate for the moment.
Yeah,
and
very, very interesting here. And oh, we have a band of Marines moving down and moving back up, actually, almost trying to bait something out from HasuObs there. There is a single Stalker, and if he stands there and the Marines see it, then he's going to be able to see the pylon behind it, so he needs to be careful. And the Marines now see the pylon. Yeah. Is he going to go take it out? Yeah, it looks like he is.
And HasuObs, he denied the scouting to Sting here. Sting wasn't able to see whether or not there is a Nexus out of HasuObs, so he has to play in the dark for the moment. He's going to go for the quick starports. He's getting his first mine already. This build is very safe against almost anything. And mine is going to be burrowed by the expansion here.
Gateways number 3 and 4 coming down now from HasuObs as well. So we're going up to 4 gateways plus a Stargate. And unfortunately, he's very supply blocked at the moment. 2 pylons about to finish up on 34. This is not what he wanted. He is up to 400 minerals, but immediately spends it as soon as he's not supply blocked on that Nexus. So he will end up expanding off of this.
And I like Sting's position right now. He's getting a Medivac. He's actually only got 1 mine, no 2 mines. He's put 1 again right in the middle of his SCV line. And you know, if you send a hallucinated, Phoenix into his mineral line and then follow it up with an Oracle. I think Sting will die pretty hard to that, but HasuObs has not been trying that just yet. Sting is going to go for the drop with 8 Marines in it. HasuObs does spot it with his Mothership Core. He's gonna come back and try to photon overcharge, but look at the speed of the Medivac compared to the Mothership Core. It's just gonna take such a long time for him to come back. He's getting a Phoenix to try and deny that Medivac, but the Marines might be dropped before, so he has to come back right now with 2 extra Stalkers. He's gonna have 3 Stalkers and 1 Sentry, 1 Phoenix, 1 Oracle, which will be more than enough to deal with this.
Yeah, I think so. Oh, the Medivac down to about half health now, and we have more units being warped in. Still trying to chase the Medivac. Here comes the Oracle to try and pick off the Marines. The Oracle should be able to do quite a good job here. And the Medivac about to go down. There we go. So the Marines know where to go. Number of workers killed at the moment. Only 1 from Sting. So doing a fantastic job so far as Hasu of holding this off.
Yeah, some nice target fire. He was able to get the Sentry as well. So that's going to be a big win for him, because if he hadn't killed that HasuObs every 100 energy, he can send a hallucinated Phoenix to scout exactly what Sting is doing. But now, HasuObs, as far as scouting goes, he's only going to have his target units, but there is always the threat of having a mine around. So right now he's using Envision. He's trying to fly into the main to see exactly what's up. He's going to see all of those barracks. He knows exactly that it's going to be Bio and Nozmeg. Oh, he has to be careful. He might lose his Oracle here. 4 hit points.
Oh.
He does get away.
Very, very careful there indeed. Really doesn't want to be engaging quite that hard against clusters of Marines. Oracles, of course, while they can do an immense amount of damage, they're also quite fragile units themselves. So getting away, but only just, he'll have an opportunity to recharge those shields now. In the meantime, Phoenix is still flying around, trying his best to keep Sting in his base. We have both players actually supply blocked at the moment. HasuObs on 60 and Sting on 70. This is the last best of 3 in their group stage. A very, very long day of games from these players, and a couple of small errors now creeping into their play.
Yeah, definitely. Sting is adding on 2 extra barracks, and I think he's going to want to push pretty hard here against a Stargate play like this from HasuObs, and HasuObs committing a lot of gas on this with the 1 Oracle and then the 3 Phoenixes. There is a timing window during which HasuObs is going to be very weak, where he does not have either charge or Colossi, and against a lot of Marines and Bioforce with Medivacs in support, he might just end up dying. That's how 4GG won the first game against Baby Knight, which I was watching earlier. And I think Sting is going to go for the exact same thing here. We do see a Robo-Bay going down, but I mean, he's going to take a while to get it up, and then the Colossi production will take a while as well. I think Sting is going to really want to try to hit as soon as possible here.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Don't forget also that the upgrades are also slightly in front as well for HasuObs, but not by much, because Stim's about to complete, and we have got +1 infantry weapons a little bit behind HasuObs. So if HasuObs just waits and allows Sting to get that Stim up, allows him to get the +1 up, Sting could be setting himself up for really, really dangerous timing.
Yeah, he's getting a 3rd command center, but he's getting a lot of units right now. Oh, nice.
There we go. That's what we saw at MLG, I believe. Envision allowing them to pick up the mines before they actually detonate, and as a result, the Oracle able to come in and mop up a lot of units as quickly as he can. He's running out of energy on that, though, so he's going to have to head back for now. Number of workers killed, 18 from HasuObs so far. Now, this is looking more like what he wants to do.
Well, Sting, he knew that there was an Oracle out on the map and a couple of Phoenixes. Oh, big engagement here.
Yes, indeed. Force fields trying to keep Sting out. Sting was going for a counterattack. That's why the Oracle did so much damage. The army from Sting simply wasn't home. He was actually out on the map looking to try and do a counterattack. HasuObs has to hold strong here, has to make sure he doesn't waste too many force fields and keeps the army at bay. And it looks like Sting's actually moving away for now. Possibly, is he going to load up and try and drop around the side?
He only has 1 Medivac.
Yeah, he can't do that. He needs a lot more Medivacs to do that.
Sting, he took some huge economical damage, and then he felt obligated to attack behind this. But then he realized this wasn't going to work. He had only 1 Medivac, there was Photon Overcharge being used, and HasuObs just had a lot of units by his expansion. So for the moment, Sting is going to be pulling back. I think he's going to want to stabilize, take his 3rd, start some more upgrades, maybe go into Ghost, and it was a huge mistake not to get a turret. He knew his opponent had an Oracle and a coupled Phoenix.
Oh, and here we go. Another engagement here. Good force fields keeping out the majority of that army. Great pickup there by the Medivac. Almost getting sniped off. Only 2 Medivacs with this army, and one of them on very, very low health. But here's the thing. Extended Thermal Lance finishes in 20 seconds. So once those Colossi start popping out on the field from HasuObs, I don't think Sting can push in up the ramp like this anymore.
Yeah, definitely not. He's going to be on full retreat for the moment. HasuObs finally starting a 3rd Nexus. He's kind of hiding it. He's getting it at the 12 o'clock position where Sting will almost never scout. And Those Phoenixes are going to try to do some harass, but actually there is finally a turret. This is what he should have done in the first place. He wouldn't have taken economical damage if he had done that, but those Phoenixes are going to try to snipe a couple units rallied in the middle of those barracks.
Oh, the Oracle is going to go down now, and the Phoenix is under siege from the Vikings. Oh, one of the medevacs does go down, managing to save all the Phoenixes, but two of them on very, very low health. The scouting medevac is taking a look at this sort of 3 o'clock base location here. Not going to be seeing anything so far. The Colossi with extended thermal lance are out, and HasuObs does have a mothership core with full energy.
Yeah, and again, he's going for similar style than he did before, the 2 Colossi with the range into Charge Laws and Templars. It did not work out too well for him in the previous game because he was very far behind economically. When Sting had the same supply that he has now, HasuObs only had 104. This time he has much more supply. He's going to get +2 armor in a second. He's researching charge, and I don't think he's going to want to look to fight before all of these upgrades finish. And he's actually getting extra Phoenixes, which I'm a bit surprised about. You would think he'd save his gas for those Templars, but instead of that, getting some extra Phoenixes here, maybe to really shut down those medevac drops.
Yeah, this is very, very interesting. I think a point you made there about shutting down the medevac drops is definitely valid. If he positions his Phoenixes correctly, he can ensure that Sting basically is completely deterred from getting any sort of medevac drop in. It's also possible that if he sees Sting's army moving out across the map, that's a good opportunity for Phoenixes to go in and try and kill off 10 or 12 workers and then maybe fly back, because they're very, very fast units. And as long as he can spot the army movements of Sting, maybe he can get in and do some more economic damage as well.
Yeah, and HasuObs has actually got a proxy pylon, which I really like. As a Protoss in a macro game, you should always have a couple of proxy pylons near your opponent's base. And I think he's going to start sending in a couple of Zealots to do some harass and force his opponents to maybe into doing some mistakes, into doing a wrong attack against Templars. HasuObs right now, he has Storm about to finish. He's adding on a lot of Templars. Does he have any of them with energy actually yet?
Let's take a quick look. The Templars joining the army at the moment. He does not have Storm yet because it needs to finish research. There we go. It just finishes now.
He has 2 Storms.
And he will make use of them as soon as this army potentially moves up with them. He could move forward with them now and try and get some off. Here we go, the Templar coming around the side.
Oh, he has to force fill again. The more time he can buy now, the better. He's got level 2 armor upgrades. Couple Zealots are wreaking havoc into this SCV line, and Sting is going to come back and defend this quite with some ease as he's retreating for the moment. But upgrade-wise, Hasu is not doing too bad.
He's got up to 30 workers killed in this game so far, Todd. He's up to 70 workers versus 53. He's doing a great job when Sting's army is out of his base. He's doing a fantastic job here of constantly trying to do pressure against him.
Yeah, and Sting for the moment is just gonna wanna look to chill for a second. He started level 2 upgrades for his Bioforce, the attack that is. And Sting actually, he groups his Ghost with his Vikings, so it's going to be very hard for him to take a good engagement against that big Protoss ball, because you need to micro your Ghost and your Vikings separately. But I think he's most likely going to attack move, try to get a good concave and then get some good EMPs, but it's just that much harder with only 2 control groups. Whereas the Protoss, you really need to have everything on 1 and Templars on 2, which is exactly what HasuObs has. You know, HasuObs, some of the most feared Templar micro in the world, I think. He always feedbacks perfectly, he always storms perfectly, and in this game, if Sting makes mistakes or if he does not engage perfectly, he's going to be punished immediately by HasuObs, I can tell you that.
We saw a very scary situation there where HasuObs moved out towards the 3rd base location of Sting, got a couple of EMPs to the face and decided, you know what, I actually can't take this right now. The problem is Sting is now going to head over and try and force the issue himself. HasuObs with a couple of defensive storms, but now if Sting moves out to the left-hand side, he has another base to take, and HasuObs is caught in a very, very awkward position here. He's got Colossi, but only 3 of them, and the Vikings are lurking with intent.
Yeah, HasuObs right now, he wants to fight, but if he goes down that ramp, he's going to get his entire army EMP.
Oh my god, those EMPs were amazing! The High Templar admittedly are off to the back, but the entire army is without shields right now for HasuObs. Such a difficult position to be in. We can see the base over here is about to get taken down. A 12 o'clock base hasn't been scouted yet from Sting, and I don't know, HasuObs is just... We need to make sure he doesn't get another EMP up on those Templars, because we have at least 1 more Storm left. He's going to need it.
Oh, and Sting is... He wants to finish HasuObs, and he's going to move in position to try and finish him. And oh, he's been steaming a lot. Look at his army. Everything's red.
So, yeah, it's so close to dying here, and the Colossi in this point might actually do a lot of damage. The Marauders, though, surviving past the last Colossus going down, and he is going to be kiting back. The Stalkers can blink forward if they want to, and indeed they do. So this army from Sting, you're absolutely right. We have a little bit of an overextension there from our Terran player, and HasuObs takes a supply lead.
And you know, I think HasuObs might try to counterattack the base of Sting right after he gets rid of all of those units. After you win a big fight like this and you clear out your opponent's army, you're gonna wanna poke at least, see exactly how much he's remade. And HasuObs is moving into position to do this. He's lost his proxy pylon. He's going for a Dark Shrine. He's gonna need new proxy pylon to start sending in some DTs to try and wreck his opponent's economy.
This is very, very difficult here now. Both players, of course, on the receiving end of a lot of aggression in this mid-game. We have SCVs being pulled as well. EMP missing there. A lot of SCVs actually continuing to come out onto the field. Is Sting intending to have them continue go all the way to HasuObs' base? It looks like he might be. They're very far from home right now.
And Sting, with all of those SCVs here, he felt he had to engage, but he saw that HasuObs had a lot. He had a Colossi as well. There is not many Vikings out on the map. One Zealot trying to deny that base at the 6 o'clock position. And HasuObs' Dark Shrine is about to finish, but he has no proxy pylon. Those DTs are going to have to cross the entire map. He does have enough gas to start a couple of them. He's getting level 2 attack upgrade. He's already finished level 3 armor. And with the force base on the way, Hasu is going to stabilize once again, with about equal army supplies and workers as well.
Now there are 5 Vikings out on the field at the moment for Sting and 2 Colossi, but he's continuing to make those, and we actually have switched into medevac production now from Sting. So if HasuObs perhaps leaves it unscouted for a little bit, his Colossi at the start of an engagement could end up doing a lot of damage before the Vikings can take them out. Sting wants to make sure he knows what kind of tech HasuObs will be on when they next engage.
And Sting, he already has a turret in his main. He has 1 in his 3rd base. He has 1 in his 4th base, which is a planetary fortress. So right now, the best HasuObs could do would be split 3 DTs, 1 in the main, 1 in the natural, 1 in the 3rd. HasuObs looking to poke with couple Zealots. He's actually going to send all of those at the 6 o'clock position. Almost all of those units getting caught. The DT getting EMP'd and revealed for a second here.
Yep, and it looks like, yeah, he is going to catch that as well. The last Zealot going down too, and we have got a missile turret popping up right next to the planetary fortress at the 6 o'clock position. That's not going to be too much of an issue.
Nice catch on that DT. He's EMP'd one of them, revealing it. Hasu is going to try to snipe an orbital command, and most likely he should pull back behind this or try to hit some good storm. After I gave him so many props for his storms and Templar control, he's like missing every single storm so far.
Oh, no! Yeah, that's the 3rd storm that does actually hit anything. Needs to be very careful. There's the Time Warp. Now imagine if there was a storm right on top of that Time Warp the moment it went down. That would have been so, so good for HasuObs. As it currently stands, though,
huge EMPs on the Protoss army. There is no shields left on all of the Stalkers. But the problem is that Sting is afraid of getting stormed here.
And the storms actually have at least been killing the Vikings. And now the Colossi are okay because there are no Vikings left on the field with this army at the moment. There are 4, but I can't see where they are. I think they're flying over. So the Colossi there were able to do a lot of damage. And I actually wonder if HasuObs should have pushed the point there just a little bit longer. Because the 4 Vikings, look, they're at the ramp to his natural. They weren't actually engaging there.
You know, HasuObs, he's up to 70 probes against 62 SCVs, so he's well saturated on many bases. Actually, his natural is about to be depleted, so he's going to have to transfer some of those, maybe take a new base. He's chasing down a couple of Marauders here. Always not going to say no to some easy kills, but yeah, HasuObs, he's up to 4 Colossi again, and we only have 6 Vikings out on the field right now for Sting. He needs a lot more than that if he wants to be able to deal with this Colossi. And again, we've seen him do that before. Sting not getting the ship upgrades for his Vikings. They are not going to do enough damage, most likely, against this Colossi for him to win the fight. He's going to need great EMPs.
This is also really, really cool, Todd. Remember in that last engagement, the storms primarily hit the Vikings. Once the Vikings were down, the Colossi, even though they didn't go in and kill the 3rd, were completely unhindered. Sting has recognized this, and he was just building Vikings 3 at a time. He's now up to 11 Vikings, but HasuObs is going full-on Templar production. He hasn't built more Colossi at the moment, and that means that in this next engagement, the Vikings are basically dead supply.
Yeah, and look, we have a couple Templars moving in position here. I think Hasu just realized he just got storm on those He's going to regroup with his Templars, and yeah, the force is strong with these, man.
And we have another run by going out in the 7 o'clock position. A DT and 3 Zealots going to try and pick off a decent number of SEVs. Up to 57 SEV kills now, and we're in the natural. This DT is on 9 kills. His rank is Mentor. There is nothing mining in the natural expansion, and he might even be able to take out a barracks. Okay, there we go. Really nice multi-prong harass here from HasuObs. Quite similar to the game we saw him play earlier, where he was just all over the map in the late game.
Yeah, and HasuObs is still on 70 probes. Sting has fallen to 41 SCVs, so now the more HasuObs waits, the better it's going to be. Sting obviously is going to try to engage because he knows he's behind, and HasuObs, he cannot be caught here. He has to pull back, he has to regroup, he has to make sure he gets a perfect engagement if he wants to win this game.
Yeah, he really does. At the moment, HasuObs is up to 191 supply versus the 158 for Sting. Sting is also on 41 workers to 70, and he's mining less than HasuObs as well. Hasu is just playing a fantastic game at the moment. He just needs to hold out for the victory here and make sure he takes a good victory in any sort of large-scale engagement. Once again, the orbital command at the 7 o'clock position actually forced to lift off and leave this time around, and the planetary fortress at the 6 o'clock. Okay, that might not get taken up by a couple of Zealots and DT, but this orbital on the right is looking pretty vulnerable. And
Sting is finally upgrading personal cloaking. He's really going to need these upgrades. He can scan before the fight and try to snipe the observer, and in which case his ghost will be completely undetected. And Hasu, he has to decide right now what does he complete his army with. He has 10 supply to work with. He was on 190 supply until a second ago, and he's going to get observer speed, I believe. He has to leave a couple Templars. You can't bring all of your Templars with you at this point in the game, because if that happens and they get EMP'd, you're just going to get counter-attacked and die.
Yep.
You expect to trade in the fight, but not usually to win if the Terran has too many ghosts. You're going to lose your army usually. So you need to bring just a couple Templars, and HasuObs is actually bringing a lot of them with his army.
Fantastic scan as well from Sting. Saw exactly the army composition. That was the information he was missing before when he was getting too many Vikings or stuff like that. Now he sees exactly what he's going up against. That could be very important for him down the line.
But Sting, he needs more Vikings, I think still. He's only on 14 right now, which is actually a decent number, but without those ship...
yeah, no upgrades on them.
Yeah, without... Yeah. If he had 2-0, at least 2-0, you know? Yeah. At this point in the game, he could have 3-0, but at least having 2-0 is so important in this game. But he's got Vikings 0-0, so they're not going to do all that much against these Colossi.
And another scan in the middle of the map, trying to dislodge a DT from that watchtower. Unable to do so, though, as HasuObs moves in. Another scan, just wanting to check out exactly what's going on there. Just confirmation, all the units there. And we have a Marine getting picked apart. It looks like Sting is going to be backing out at this time, but HasuObs isn't going to like the fact that his friends just seeing him everywhere he goes.
And you know, HasuObs is waiting too much right now, and he's not scouting the bottom left-hand side base. He's 3-3. Sting is only 2-2 on his Bioforce. So I think HasuObs, he can trade very cost-effectively in the next fight. If he does not get his entire army EMP'd instantly, he can get at least 1 or 2 storms off. He will trade well enough to be able to remax behind it and then win the game.
Oh, and another 2 Zealots and a DT going inside the main base, managing to pick off a turret as well. Sting looks like trying to do an engagement here out in the middle of the map, but again, the 2 Zealots and the DT once again doing so much damage, trying to pick off some of those add-ons, and HasuObs is going for it out in the center here. He's trying to focus Sting's attention elsewhere so he can get as much damage done in the main as possible. It will finally get cleaned up. There is still a War Prism there, though.
Yeah, and one Templar is gonna come in here all by himself, try and storm the army of the Terran. Oh, okay, not the greatest storm. He could have gotten a couple of feedbacks, actually. It would have been better, especially since those ghosts are full hit points. And HasuObs is really hesitating right now, which gave enough time to Sting to be able to get max, basically. He has 3-3 on the way. If he lets Sting get 3-3, I fear HasuObs will be in a lot of trouble here.
He just needs to trade favorably at this point because it's 70 works versus 37. Sting has a larger army supply, but his income is not that great. He won't be able to remax quite as much. A couple of EMPs going down, though, and actually not catching too much of the army. He EMP'd the same group of Stalkers about 3 or 4 times there. The rest of the Templars in the back have a lot of energy left, but we need to see an equal engagement from HasuObs because his income is larger at the moment.
Sting definitely a bit trigger happy on those EMPs here in the middle of the map. A couple of his Vikings took some hits. He's actually finally realized that there was a War Prism in his main. He's going to send 2 Vikings to clear it. This should die, but not before it drops the final Zealot and Dark Templar into his 3rd base. This bottom left base is the big problem for HasuObs right now. If he had been able to get rid of it, at least send 1 Zealot in there, I mean, Sting will fall so far behind economically that even if he won a fight, he will still lose the game.
Yeah, I think so. And the number of workers killed from HasuObs now has gone all the way up to 68, Todd. This is absolutely crazy stuff here. Picking off the missile turret at the 6 o'clock base, so he's preparing to send a DT in there later. That's a pretty cool move there from HasuObs. But now Sting has decided now is the time to head on forward. A couple of snipes going off on some Templars there. Good storm going down, but unable to actually kill any units. So Sting will be able to heal that up.
Sting has 3-3 right now, so he wants to press forward. But look at HasuObs. He has Templars on every single base and cannons as well. He's ready to defend against so many ghosts. He's gonna force snipe and EMPs on a lot of those Templars. HasuObs actually trying to catch the army of Sting off guard here, at least faking an attack. Finally, Zealots being warped on the bottom left-hand side of the map, and Sting is gonna have a very poor economy in this game. In the upcoming minutes, he has to win a big fight right now.
He does indeed. His army supply is 164 versus 125 at the moment, so he has a lot of supply invested here, and 3-3 is finished for his bio. This is going to be his chance to crush HasuObs in one big engagement, and then after that engagement to go through and wipe HasuObs out before he can actually resupply. HasuObs has a bank of 4,000 minerals and 3,000 gas, don't forget, guys. So there is quite a lot for him to fall back on here. A couple of defensive storms while HasuObs cleans up that bottom left base, even getting the orbital command. His next target may well be the 6 o'clock base, but Sting at the moment in a good position to try and be aggressive and take out some bases himself.
Yeah, and HasuObs, he has Templars everywhere. He's doing the parting style, sending in Templars from every direction because Terran doesn't have vision. I mean, Terran is out on the map with this army. He only has vision very close to his army. He does not see all that far. So seeing all those Templars headed his way and storming him is always going to be hard. And Sting right now is down to nearly no economy. He's got 20 SCVs mining, 400 income. HasuObs, he just need a couple more storms and then he will be able to get rid of, I was going to say enough of this army to win, but maybe this entire army.
Yeah, what HasuObs just needs to do right now, he needs to get it just one very, very good engagement. And even if he loses a bit more than Sting, as long as he's very cost-effective about it, it's going to be so difficult for Sting to remax in this position. And that's what HasuObs has to play against. Sting, though, he's in a good position. He's on the high ground there, and it looks like he might be able to head over and maybe snipe off the 11 o'clock base before Hasu can get this engagement.
Couple nice storms being used here, but there's still a lot of ghosts here for Sting. Oh, huge storms.
That was very, very nice there on the majority of the ghosts as well. And the Colossi are picking apart the ghosts. There's so much energy on those ghosts, but it's not being used for EMP at the moment. His attention is being stretched in a lot of directions at once. They are cloaked, though, which means because there's no detection with this army at the moment, it's actually looking like the ghosts are going to very, very slowly clean up.
Yeah, but they're going to be all that's left, and I mean, they don't even have all that much energy for the most part. I think HasuObs can just... He can remax about 2 times right now with all the money he has, and that's exactly what he's going to do. He's only on 2 robo. At this point in the game, having around 4 would have been better, obviously, but Sting, I mean, he just doesn't have all that much anymore. He's down to 55 army supply. HasuObs only on 79, but like I said, HasuObs is going to be able to remax. He needs to buy himself enough time.